All right, fellas, good work, good work. I think we're ready for tonight. We can even use some of this in our upcoming games. You guys take a break for a while. You can do something out here at the park until it's time to head over to the museum. Andre, bring the clipboard. You can help me figure something out.
Coming. You heard that? I gotta go.
So you don't know the answer?
What?
It takes 17 muscles to smile. How many does it take to frown?
Coach just called me. I gotta go.
43, I win. It takes 17 muscles to smile and 43 muscles to frown.
One hang up.
Hey, don't.
Andre, you coming?
On my way, Coach.
Come on, bring the clipboard too.
You got it right here.
Oh, that thing's unbreakable. Don't worry about it.
Easy for him to say.
Okay.
Here, hand it
Well,
to me.
don't prove your point.
See? Tough as nails.
Doesn't mean you have to bang me like a hammer.
So, what do you want to talk about, Coach?
RJ.
Yeah, how come RJ didn't show up at the workout?
Well, RJ's not going to be playing with us for a while.
Why? Is he injured? College scouts were just starting to look his way.
Yeah, it is bad timing. And no, he's not injured. Not exactly, anyway. You see, RJ has had some problems with drugs and he's been suspended, which means he can't play basketball with us, of course.
Wow.
He'll be gone from school for 2 weeks, and when he gets back, we're going to have a talk with him. He's going to have to commit himself to school and to the team. I just wish there was something more that we could do to help him out.
I want to help too. What can we do?
You know, I've got an idea. I want you to work with a few people from the team. Maybe your sister too. See if we can't find a couple of ways to help keep RJ away from drugs.
It won't be hard to find volunteers to help.
I knew I could count on you, Andre.
I know exactly what you're talking about, Charlene. This one time I decided I'd... Charlene? Charlene? Nicole?
Hey, Charlene. Andre told me a joke and I laughed my head off. Look, my arm's getting all jiggy. Oh no, my leg's starting to walk away. Just get it work.
Good job, she just fainted.
It was all Booker's fault. Exactly the way I told you it was gonna happen. You never listen to me. It was all his fault.
Are you okay, Charlene?
Oh, sure.
Charlene, I'm sorry. We were only trying to give you a laugh.
It was funny, I'll give you that.
It was kind of cute.
Funny, cute. All my ideas, ladies. Just a little something I put together for y'all. Y'all ain't gotta thank me.
Don't worry, we won't.
Be quiet, Charlene's coming.
Isn't she something like 3 years older than you?
Who's counting?
1, 2, 3. Guess I am.
You know, if she falls, and she will, I can catch her.
Nobody comes up with the genius plans like you, Andre. You've been working on that one a couple weeks?
Do I really need you around?
Nah, just let all your papers sit here when the next breeze comes along. Coach will appreciate it, I'm sure.
I could just toss you right now.
Oh, hello to you too.
Oh, Charlene, I didn't see you.
Must be my camouflaged outfit. Mind if I try?
Sure.
You're really falling for her. I thought it was supposed to be the other way around. I noticed she didn't try too hard to catch you.
Funny.
Well, I wouldn't consider it funny, Andre, but well, now that you mention it, it was kind of funny.
No, I meant, never mind.
Did you rip your pants?
No, I gotta go, bye. See you around.
Whoa, watch it there.
Remember who's in charge here.
Hey, but I love the SpongeBob boxers. Were they all out of Batman?
You know, you're not in a good position to talk right now.
Yikes! Forget everything I said. Nice, Andre. Good boy.
I want to thank you all for coming. I'm going to split us up into 2 groups, and I'll tell you what I want your team to do.
Am I gonna need a basketball for this, Andre?
No, you won't need anything but your creative mind.
Oh, when you still invited Terrence, how sweet.
You know, Nicole, jealousy is not pretty.
Neither are you.
Okay, now everybody can see why I'm gonna put my sister and Terrence in 2 different groups.
And you don't see anyone complaining.
Okay, does she have a pause button so we can get started? Okay, on my left, I want Papa Franklin, Nicole, and Booker T. And on my right, I'll join Terrence, Big Mama, and Charlene. Our goal is to help RJ. He's having a lot of problems with drugs right now. And we're his friends, so we can help him.
Compassion can cure more sins than condemnation. That's how we'll reach out to RJ.
So true, Big Mama. Some people have things in their lives called risk factors that make it more likely they'll use drugs. That's what I want this group to work on. See if you can come up with a list of risk factors so we can learn what RJ is up against.
Can we get an example?
A good example of a risk factor is a friend or family member who uses drugs. If they do, this is considered a risk factor.
Perfect example, Papa Franklin.
I understand. So if a person lives in a violent neighborhood where drugs are easily accessible, that's also a risk factor, right?
Another risk factor would be peer pressure. I see it all the time.
All very good examples. Now I've given each group pens and paper so we can get started.
We get to judge their ideas?
Not at all. Our group is going to come up with a list of protective factors, some things in people's lives that make it less likely they'll use drugs.
And the best protective factors is when your family members and friends do not use drugs.
Right, Big Mama. Another protective factor would be staying involved in activities like church.
Or basketball.
Yes, more good examples. Now we need to come up with a list of protective factors so we can help RJ get away from and stay away from drugs.
Andre, I'm curious. Can you tell if a person will use drugs just by looking at the risk and protective factors?
Well, that's a good question, but I really don't know. Coach didn't mention that.
The short answer is no. You can't always tell if a person will abuse drugs just by looking at their risk and protective factors. But you can help their chances if you minimize their risk factors and maximize their protective factors.
Oh, I just love when my big man talks science. It's so cute.
I was going to add that a person's risk and protective factors change during the course of their life.
You just keep adding, and I'll keep smiling.
Big Mama, remember how risk factors are things in your life that make people more likely to use or abuse drugs?
And protective factors makes it less likely that they'll use or abuse drugs?
Right. But I was wondering if we could talk about risk factors for a minute.
What's on your mind, Nicole?
Well, if people know what risk factors are, why don't they just get rid of them?
If life could be so simple, baby. Have you ever heard of something called peer pressure?
Sure I have, but what's that got to do with it?
Well, if you want to fit in, sometimes it makes it hard to make the right choices, especially when you don't know the consequences of that choice. Lots of kids don't know how using drugs can mess up their lives.
So they choose to abuse drugs?
Oh, they're not bad kids necessarily. Maybe they just think they want to smoke cigarettes to be cool, but they don't understand how the nicotine in cigarettes can be addictive. It's much tougher to quit smoking than it is to never start in the first place.
I understand.
There are a lot of risk factors that you can't change easily, but if you know about them, you may be able to limit their influence. If your family members and friends are using drugs, you might not be able to change that.
I know what you mean. I'm going to make sure that none of my friends use drugs. That way, I'll have the right protective factors in my life to make sure that I'm not using drugs.
Ultimately, it's up to you and not your friends. Is that right, Franklin?
Well, I didn't hear it, but if Big Mama said it, it's probably right.
Mama and I were just discussing risk and protective factors.
Oh, good information for you to know, Nicole.
Well, I was explaining that you may be able to control some of your risk and protective factors, but ultimately, using drugs comes down to a choice you have to make for yourself.
Well, I'm choosing no.
Nicole, you can pick your friends. Dang, you can pick your nose, but you can't pick friends' noses.
Excuse me?
What Franklin means is that it's time for him to leave.
I was just going to feed the ducks.
They're full.
Well, I guess that's my cue to leave. Do I hear fool calling me something?
Here, Franklin. Now, don't talk with your mouth full.
I think Papa Franklin's hungry again.
Isn't he awake? It doesn't take being a science professor to know when Franklin's hungry.
But it doesn't hurt. Oliver.
Yes, step in.
Hey, Oliver. We're here for tonight's show.
Wonderful. I presume you have tickets then? The doors open in about 30 minutes. Enjoy the show.
No, we're here to perform, remember?
Oh, of course, you must be with the boys' choir.
No, that all changed, remember?
Changed? Who decided? You must have spoken to my brother earlier today.
To your... Oh, you're Oliver. See, I thought I was talking to Oliver, but you're his identical twin, Oliver, the other Oliver.
I'm the first Oliver. He's the other Oliver.
Sorry, that's right. He told me. 2 minutes apart, right?
2.5. He's forever forgetting.
You guys sure are a lot alike.
Something about the word identical has you confused? Leave it to my brother to screw things up. So he canceled the boys' choir and brought you in.
Well, he didn't actually cancel it. See what happened?
Whatever. So what are you guys, an orchestra?
Basketball team.
Coach.
Quentin.
You almost had me with that one. Basketball team. So really, since we don't have much time till the curtain goes up, what do your guys do? Marching band, dance?
That's it. We dance.
Oh.
Choreography with basketballs.
Wonder what's taking them so long.
Something you should know about Oliver.
What's that?
He's always wanted to be a twin. An identical twin, in fact. He married one, and sometimes he pretends he has an identical twin.
But he doesn't.
Definitely not. He just plays his gag with people until they catch on. His father-in-law runs this place, just doing a favor for Oliver.
So you're sure Oliver doesn't have an identical twin?
I'm sure.
But he's so convincing.
Lots of practice. Sometimes I think he convinces himself. But there's only one of him. I can promise you that.
But how can you be so sure?
Because he pretends that both of them work here. But every payday, I give Oliver one paycheck. So don't you think his twin, whichever one isn't getting paid, would be just a little bit upset?
Wow. Hey, where's Oliver?
I'll be with you in just one moment.
Okay, but where's Oliver?
Well, he's right here.
But he looks so different from this morning.
Oh, you noticed?
Well, this is his twin brother, Oliver.
Twins. I guess so, but I can see the finer differences.
Really? And I trust you're looking at the more handsome sibling?
Well, you're the more professional, of course. But your brother, and don't tell him I said this, but he said we could have a free reign in the kitchen. Eat whatever you like, he said. Make sure you're not hungry before the performance, he said. Drinks are on me, he said. Whoop it up with the Gatorade, he said.
Oh, he said that, did he?
Sure as I'm standing here. And a little more, but I don't want to get him in trouble.
I don't think so.
Well, we're going to follow his orders.
Stop right there. I know he didn't say it because I wouldn't have said it, and I'm Oliver.
No, the other Oliver.
I'm the other Oliver.
What?
Sorry, Coach. I had to expose him before you got more embarrassed.
But how'd you know?
Well, because I met his real twin brother. Separated at birth.
What? Oh my gosh, where? I have to meet him.
Relax. I'm joking.
You shouldn't just make up a twin brother.
No, that wouldn't be very honest now, would it?
That's right. It sure wouldn't. And okay, you're right. I was just trying to make my job a little more interesting.
In that case, I should be one of the 4 quadruplets.
You better get ready for the show.
Right you are, Coach. And Andre, help yourself to the kitchen anytime you'd like.
Well, thanks, Oliver. You're all right. Both of you.
I just love the smell of applause in the evening. My favorite kind of music.
Hey, Oliver. Wanted to thank you for all your help this weekend and, for your understanding with the big mix-up between the basketball team and the choir.
Oh, no, Quentin. I need to thank you for being so understanding. My job can get pretty boring sometimes, but I shouldn't try to spice it up at the expense of others.
Hey, let's call it a draw.
Done. I suppose you'll be heading back tonight?
Yeah, the kids will have class in the morning, and I've got to teach science and get ready for basketball. You know, the big holiday tournament is this weekend. This time, I'm sure of it.
Well, good luck with that. I hope we didn't cut into your preparation with this last-minute demand.
Oh, no, on the contrary. I mean, I'll have an extra week to practice, and frankly, I think this is just what the kids need. I try to keep my workouts fresh and lively, and we've never done choreography before.
Well, you know, I think basketball can be a lot like opera. What do you think, Coach?
The opera? You mean like a bunch of grown-ups dancing around the stage in their pajamas? That opera?
Yeah, that opera.
No.
No, me either. Not after the way you described it.
You know, if you're bored next weekend, you can come see us in the tournament. We should be right up the road if I can read the map correctly.
I just may do that. Better eat some oranges so I'm ready for the game.
You know, Oliver, both of you are pretty interesting guys. Thanks for having us this weekend.
Well, thanks for putting on the show, and I'll see you next weekend.
Hopefully in the finals.
And how would you like yours prepared, dear?
Make it as rare as a frown on your face, Franklin.
Okay then. Let's add a pinch of salt. And now some chicken lips. And the eye of hurricane. Just a little bit of eye of hurricane. And a dash of alligator mucus. Look at how it goes in. Stir just a little bit. Ah, smell that aroma. Oh, what are you making, dear?
I'm making reservations at a restaurant.
But I'm fixing Franklin's surprise.
Don't be surprised if they don't eat it again.
Well, fine. Don't have your dull little pizza, see if I care. Just because TD's pizza's their favorite dish doesn't mean we have to feed it to them.
I'll go and check on the kids.
Hello? DD's Pizza? Yeah, I need to place a large order for a fast delivery.
That was an interesting weekend.
I'll second that. Andre, I was proud of you. How you had everyone come together to help your friend RJ. I learned a lot from that.
But you already knew everything. You helped us learn.
I knew the science. I never knew the power of everyone coming together to help a friend.
That was pretty impressive, little brother.
You okay?
They're right, Andre. It was a great thing you did.
RJ has some risk factors in his life that make him more likely he'll use drugs.
He has some friends and some family members who use drugs. Those are definite risk factors.
And he lives in a neighborhood where it's easy to get drugs.
Is there peer pressure at school?
I've seen it, especially with the kids RJ hangs out with.
That's why building in some protective factors will lessen the chances of RJ abusing drugs.
We need to keep him involved in basketball and church. If he hangs out with kids that don't use drugs, that will help him.
That's an important protective factor.
Remember, you can't tell if a person will abuse drugs by only looking at their risk and protective factors. There are other things involved also.
Plus, risk and protective factors change during a person's life.
That's right. I remember you saying that, Papa. So if we can give RJ some more protective factors, it'll keep him off drugs and on the basketball court.
He's got the right team helping him out.
Thanks, Mama. What's for dinner?
It's a surprise.
Oh, wow.
Oh, sorry, child. Not that kind of surprise.
It's a surprise other than the one you witnessed.
Oh.
I'll get it. DD's Pizza for everyone.
Great. Come on, kids. Let's get the dinner table ready for supper.